All right, here we go.
So I wanted to get on here tonight and talk about what happened at Family Group. I know you can barely see me. It feels weird. I feel like I'm some kind of freaking half ghost or something. You can't really even see me with this light on. I feel like the freaking Grim Reaper or something. But anyway, you know, I'm at Family Group tonight, and I'm doing my thing. And if you were watching it, you saw this happen. And I'm at Family Group, and I'm broadcast, knowledge, education. Said some stuff about the FDA and Purdue Pharma at one point. And I'm not sure the timing of this, but I know I got into that a little bit because, of course, that was outrageous what Purdue Pharma did with the FDA. How they convinced them to put a label on there that said OxyContin was good for long-term use, even though everybody in the face of the earth knows that's about one of the most dangerous, irresponsible, incomprehensible things that anybody could say. But Purdue Pharma, because that's what they do, they were able to get the FDA to approve it anyway, because that's what the FDA does. Let me tell you something about the FDA real quick. The Food and Drug Administration sucks, and there's nothing that they're administrating. The Food and Drug Administration protects you neither from food nor drugs. Anyway, back on point. So tonight I'm doing my thing. Broadcast. Knowledge. And then all of a sudden, boom, cut off. Out of nowhere. No disturbance in the room. Didn't feel anything. Didn't hear anything. No earthquake. Nobody said anything in the room. Just like, boom. And the broadcast went off. Now, I don't know about you, and you might think that I'm a little bit paranoid, and I do have a witness protection cabin in an undisclosed location in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But I think Purdue Pharma is probably responsible for shutting off my Family Group tonight. I mean, think about it. If they can get the FDA to do what the FDA does, they can certainly take out Rich Jones and Faber Greenville's Monday Night Family Group. Now, I wanted to get on here, and I also wanted to try to complete a thought, because I talked about what I think is a very important point. I talked about the fact that the skill of limit setting and boundary setting for family members is one of the most important things that they can learn. Second only to taking care of themselves and stress management is this idea of how do I set boundaries and say what I mean what I say, but don't say it mean. And so we talked about that tonight. We talked about what gets in the way of that. And we talked about different strategies. You know, we know fear gets in the way, and we know anxiety gets in the way, and we know guilt gets in the way. And we went through exercises to work through that and dispute those negative feelings and those negative ideas. And we also, and this is when Purdue Pharma cut us off. This is when they came in and they cut us off. I also talked about this man named Christopher Voss, and Christopher Voss was the lead guy on the FBI's hostage negotiation for 20 years. He literally was the dude who was responsible whenever any American got kidnapped anywhere in the world. The dude knows what he's talking about, big time. He started a consulting company called Black Swan. You know, Black Swan, we'll talk about what Black Swan means on another day. But he started a consulting company named Black Swan, and he talked about the power of negotiating and some key points. And if we think about, especially if we're dealing with adult children or a spouse or whatever it may be, I know that there's a school of thought out there that goes, hey, Rich, man, dude, just throw down the towel, man. Just throw down the hammer, dude. Throw down the hammer, man. It's just what it is, dude. Just kick him out. Kick him out, man. Just ain't nobody telling me what to do, man. I'm a badass. I know there's a bunch of folks out there that think that family recovery is all about who can be the toughest. It's not. It's not at all about that. It's about learning to work through the process given the framework of your individual conditions. And for some folks, it shouldn't be about that at all. It should actually be about negotiation and trying to come to a win-win and trying to get the needle moving on recovery. And Chris Voss, now understand something. Chris Voss worked with hostage takers. We might think that drug addicts are bad, but he worked with Al-Qaeda. He worked with Bin Laden. He worked with all those dudes, all those people that weren't very nice. And he dealt with getting back hostages, and he was highly successful. He had a lot of different points. As I said, win-win, but here was the second one. Start from a place of positivity. Hell, bring some humor into the room. Let the person know that you're like with them and you're a human being, and that like this isn't about punishment. The human brain works 31% better in a positive environment. Now I ask you, does the normal stuff you see around addiction and addiction interventions and addiction services resemble anything anything positive? 31% more creativity, 31% more openness. So try to find a time, if you're going to talk to your loved one, try to find a time to do that when it's not hitting the fan, it's not completely negative, it's not completely conflictual. The timing. Bring the right kind of energy if you can. I get it. Sometimes you won't be able to. Addiction takes on a lot of different forms. There is no such thing as a quote-unquote garden variety drug addict. You know, recovery also takes on a lot of different forms. And quite frankly, family recovery takes on a lot of different forms. And interventions take on a lot of different forms. So there you have it. There are a lot of different forms out there. So I'm sorry for coming at you like some kind of freaking weird wraith from Lord of the Rings. But I'm done for tonight. Peace out. I'll see you soon.